What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly anime review of Konosuba Season 2! Oh, this series just always makes me so fucking happy! Oh, I'm sorry, I just get a lot of emotions when I sit down and watch Konosuba. It's just such a blast! No pun intended, as always, but still, it's such a blast. I just love being able to see the series back again, being able to watch it every Wednesday, and seeing just the funny comedy. So, this episode focuses on Aqua and Cosma. And there was a little bit of focus on Megumin, but overall, it's an Aqua Cosma episode. And to be honest with you, I really appreciate the episode for that, because it showed Aqua in a different light. Because one thing about her character, since Season 1, is that she's a goddess, but a lot of certain situations we've seen her in, she doesn't seem to be really that dependable. And this episode really shows that she can be a dependable person and actually manage to help you out if you're trying to do a dungeon crawler. Go inside of a dungeon, trying to raid the dungeon, gather riches. She's actually very helpful. And I really appreciated how this episode tried to show Aqua in another light, but then at the end of the episode, they actually mention that the whole reason why there was just so many problems to begin with was thanks to Aqua, and her, holy energy was causing all the undead to constantly come after her, and how Cosma realized, like, wait a minute, didn't the Dullahan and the undead from the Dullahan come after you in Season 1? Like, wait a minute. And he just backs up away from her, and he's like, lurking, he disappears. That shit was so good. That was just so good. He just fucking leaves her ass because he realizes she's the one that's been attracting all the baddies around them since the very beginning. But regardless of that, though, I want to talk about the very sad part of this episode. And yes, there was a sad part of Konosuba. Majority of the series is usually laughs and having fun, but this episode had something very different that really touched my heart. And it didn't touch my heart in a way to where I was just laughing. I actually felt sad, but at the same time, I felt happiness because what Aqua did in this episode was something I have a lot of respect for. We found out about this character that this, became a lich, and he was someone that was a wizard in the past. In his backstory, he was a really good dude. He actually helped out the love of his life. He allowed her to leave the castle. She wasn't really cared about. None of her family really liked her. And so this wizard decided to, help her out, and he asked, to be able to have her to have a good life. And so eventually he had to take her away and he ran off with her. It's like a kidnapping, but she wanted to be with him, and they were in a relationship. And the man constantly fought against the entire kingdom. The entire kingdom is against him. He fought against him, trying to protect her and be with his love. And over time, eventually he settled down in the ruins where, Cosma and Aqua are exploring in this episode. We come to find out that he sacrificed himself and became a lich to be able to help her out and protect her, and she was able to pass on in peace while he was left behind as an undead. And it was a very tragic story. I mean, it wasn't the saddest thing I've ever seen, obviously, but it was just something very unexpected from Konosuba. And when Aqua finally came in, and she was actually doing something very, very nice, she was doing something that was very dependable, and she was acting like a true goddess, and she helped this man pass on. She, threw aside all the other things that, might usually affect her, and she was really trying to help the dude out, helped him pass on, and eventually be reunited with his lover. I really appreciated that segment of the episode. It was completely different from the normal Konosuba episodes, and I mean, that's something I like to see. But that's stuff I do like. Even in comedy, I do like when comedy series do try to develop some of their characters, or show a different side of the characters that we normally never get to see. And that's what we saw with this episode. We saw Aqua being dependable, and at the same time, we saw a very touching story that was about, these two people that wanted to be together, and this man sacrificed everything and became undead to be able to protect the one he loved. And I like how he eventually was able to reunite with his lover, and that's kind of where the story ends right there. So yeah, this episode of Konosuba had a really good, tone to it. There was a lot of comedy throughout the majority of the episode, but it had a good tone with it. It had, a comedy side to it. It had, the side that was very sad as well, and I appreciate the way this episode tried to do that. So, not talking about that anymore, let's talk about Megumin for a second. So, getting into some funny stuff, Can anyone else just agree with me and say that scene when Megumin outside of the ruins and she's like, explosion, and she's doing her little chants and shit, and she's talking to the little cat, and she's like, explosion, and you see the cat's like, and it just falls over to the side. I'm like, that's so fucking cute. That's so fucking cute. Like, that cat is so fucking cute, dude. When Megumin's like, explosion, and you just see the cat just freak out and spaz. I was like, it fucking falls over. I was like, yo, that's so funny. This is so good. Now, obviously, not everybody's gonna like that scene as much as I did, but just the cat's reaction to Megumin's explosion, the way it, like, acted like that, just fell on its side. I'm like, that's perfect. That is fucking perfect. That won the episode for me. In terms of comedy, that was by far probably the best moment of the episode in terms of comedy. Now, overall, my favorite moment definitely was the Aqua scene when she was, you know, letting the two people that were lovers pass on to the afterlife. So, yeah, Konosuba this week. This episode, very enjoyable, had a lot of fun watching it, and I mean, there was a lot of good scenes throughout this episode. There was even some callbacks to the previous season. I really liked the scene with Kazuma's hands, his fingers, that weird, creepy finger movement. Oh my god. Like, the animation in that finger movement is just like something else, dude. Kazuma's like, you know, still is just like, what? He stills someone's fucking pantsu, dude. That's just, I love this series. I love this series. I always can expect a great episode from Konosuba. I'm just, like I said already, I'm just glad to have it back. So, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully all of you have a very, very great day today, and I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.